Muli Shani Bonsai, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tembi Fletcher. If it's your first time here, excuse me, I just need to get this screen ready for our topic. And today I would like to talk about the soft natural Kibbe body type for Black women, of course. I'm really excited to share this archetype with you. It's definitely one of the archetypes that I find quite easy to type, quote unquote. And it's just a really refreshing, natural, girl next door type of relaxed vibe, but it's also very sensual. And so in true Tembi fashion, we're going to be looking at an article from ourfashiongarden.com, and this is what it says about the soft natural. So soft naturals are mainly naturals. They are a soft yang. So you are yang dominant, but you are on the softer and blunter side of the yang, and then you have a yin undercurrent. They usually have a long vertical line, which is very interesting, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to address that later on. Meaning they look tall, even if they're not. And that is so true because my sister-in-law is a classic soft natural, and she looks taller than she actually is. So I think that this is really interesting. They have broad shoulders, but fleshy limbs. Soft naturals with a woman's body will most likely have an hourglass silhouette, gaining weight on their hips, different to the rest of the natural family. When gaining weight, a soft natural's body becomes very soft. Their waist loses its definition and tends to form cellulite very fast on their fleshier areas. Now, I think that this is really, really interesting. I would like you to let me know if you think you're soft natural and you've gained weight before, or you happen to be on the heavier side. Is this something that is common? Have you experienced this at all? But yeah, I think that this is quite interesting. And then your upper arms and thighs and hips collect the weight as well. And I've noticed that they haven't really talked about your bust, but I think it's because soft naturals don't necessarily have to accommodate their bust, even if it's larger. Of course, you have to consider it, but when it comes to buying tops, you can buy a t-shirt that's a bit looser and doesn't have to be form-fitting, and you're going to look great. So that's why. So the characteristics of a soft natural are as follows: moderate height to small. So you can be either moderate or petite. You're going to have some angular bones and broad shoulders. And the broadness of your shoulders isn't going to look extreme, always going to look extreme, but you definitely be able to see when it comes to how your flesh interacts with fabric, that there's going to be, your shoulders are going to pull on the fabric before your bust does. So that's something for you to put into consideration. And then you're also going to have fleshy upper arms and thighs. Your hands and feet can be fleshy as well. You're going to have a small waist in proportion to bust and hips. You can have a soft hourglass figure, but not extreme. Your faces can be different depending on the person, but they will most likely be blunt, square, or irregular. So there are certain similarities in your facial bones or facial structure when it comes to soft naturals, but I have found that essences really do play a major role with this archetype and with all other archetypes. But it's easy to mistake a soft natural for another body type because of your faces being so, I guess I would say, so diverse. But yeah, we'll continue. Let's continue. You're also going to have round eyes, but not necessarily. Some of you are going to have almond-shaped eyes. Others will have the downturned eyes. So it all depends. You're also going to have full lips. This is very common. And your noses can be small or wide. You're not a soft natural if you have only balanced features. You have very lean limbs, not fleshy at all. You have very delicate a very delicate bone structure, or have very sharp features, or have narrow and straight hips. So let's look at a soft natural celebrity example. I am trying to see if I can find, oh, we've got Miss Viola Davis as our African American, a woman of color example. And now I'm going to go ahead and give you some comparisons of facial features between 3 body types, because this is what I tend to do in my videos, just to give you context of how you can type yourself, or how you can differentiate between your features and that of different body types. So I've noticed that a lot of soft naturals, if anything, soft naturals, that's one of the archetypes that is confused with so many other archetypes. Probably most of the body types have been confused with soft naturals simply because you're more on the angular side. But then at the same time, like I said, you can be fleshy. And then when you lose weight, obviously you're going to look a lot more blunt, and you're also going to have more of, not, I wouldn't call it a dramatic body, but that angularity really starts to show when you lose weight as a soft natural. So for my examples, I think because I have so many soft natural examples, I'm going to interchange them a little bit. So to begin, I think let's use Normani as our soft natural example. I think she's a textbook soft natural. Obviously she's not verified, but that is just my opinion. And we're going to look at her facial features and also her body. And we're going to compare her to a romantic, because I used Ryan Destiny in my romantic video, but I hadn't really taken a good look at Ryan. And I'm thinking that Ryan, to me, looks more like a soft classic, and so I would like to compare those 2 body types again. For my romantic, who am I going to use? We're going to go with Miss Beyonce, because she's just, she's like the poster child for romantics in the 21st century. Well, obviously in the 2020s. Yeah, so if you take a look at Normani, she has definitely got the bluntness in her face. She's very sensual. She's got very lush features, the large eyes, the lush lips, the rounded cheeks, but you can see that bluntness in her bone structure. So she's not extremely rounded, and she doesn't look balanced at all. There's quite a bit of prominence showing in some of her facial bones, or some of her facial features rather. And then if you take a look at Beyonce is definitely rounded. She looks a lot more delicate. Her bones look a lot more delicate, and her features as well, to that of Normani, even though they're both very lush women. So you can see the roundedness in Beyonce. Basically, she's just full on lush with everything that you see about her. Even though Beyonce does have some dramatic essence, you can definitely see the softness in her face. And then moving on to their bodies, it is not difficult to tell the difference between these 2 beautiful women. Normani definitely has a lot of bluntness in her bones, and you can see how the flesh is falling on top. You can see her broad shoulders. She definitely has width in her upper back, and when she's dressed up in form-fitting clothing or figure-conforming clothes, you can see that she doesn't necessarily have to accommodate her chest area like Beyonce does. So even if she has got some waist emphasis, you can tell that her shoulders take up most of her upper body structure versus her chest. And of course her limbs are quite soft. She's got those soft arms. She's got the soft hips as well. They're pretty, she's in shape, so they're not going to look as wide, but you can definitely see the softness in her legs as well. And she kind of looks like she could have washboard abs when you look at her belly area. She's just really nice and toned, and I think that is pretty evident when it comes to soft naturals. And then when you take a look at Beyonce, all you see is lushness. I am not seeing any balance on her, neither am I seeing, Beyonce's 5'7", so she looks moderate and not necessarily petite. But you can definitely see a lot of curve on her. Her legs are soft, her thighs are soft. She's got that, you could call it a waspy waist, quote unquote, but she's very lush overall. You can see the hourglass. A really good differentiation about the two, or between the two, is that you see a lot of curve on Beyonce in terms of that's what you see first and foremost versus her frame. And that's what makes her a textbook romantic in my opinion. And another body type that I was thinking about comparing a soft natural to is a flamboyant gamine. I think that this is another body type that the soft natural is mistaken with because of the angularity in both body types. For our flamboyant gamine, I'm going to use Miss Tessa Thompson. Let's look at her facial bones. Tessa she kind of has, she's angular, but she kind of has like a chubby face in a sense. It's almost youthful. Or rather, I would say it's youthful. She's got that youthful essence about her. And that's why her face to me isn't a typical flamboyant gamine face. She's a lot more lush than most flamboyant gamines. And that's why I wanted to compare her to a soft natural, because it's easy to mistake these two body types. So I definitely think Tessa Thompson either has gamine essence and ingenue essence. Well, most likely she has a lot of gamine essence because I see her accommodating, like her fashion sense is more gamine than it is ingenue. And she is, her lips are a little lush. She has a bit of a softer nose, but it's a little bit sharper. And then her eyes are pretty large as well. And I think that is more of a gamine quality in her, like the youthful quality to her. But you can tell the difference. Imani's bones look a lot more blunt than that of Tessa. And then when you look at their bodies, yes, there's some angularity with both of them. And there is a slight broadness in Tessa Thompson's body as well. But you definitely don't see too much curve, even if she may have romantic essence. That's not the first thing that you're going to see on her because she's a yang type. So her bones are a little bit more dramatic and a little bit more boyish in my opinion. But then of course she does have some yin on her, and I think that's because of her essence. And so basically that's the difference when it comes to all of these three body types. And now let's go ahead and move on to the clothing lines of a soft natural. So the soft natural dressing lines should be unconstructed. They should be relaxed and asymmetric. However, clothes should have some shape. Softly draped fabrics and natural materials are best, like cotton, linen, and silk. Add emphasis on the waist without defining it completely. You can definitely get away with more relaxed clothing or unconstructed clothing than other soft types, body types, and I think that you should definitely take advantage of that. Okay, so now for fabrics and materials, we're looking at soft, delicate fabrics, moderate and lightweight materials, moderate and heave on outerwear, and lightweight on the rest. Abstract prints, natural fibers like linen or cotton. Shapes and overall outfits. Items need to be slightly fitted, but not tight or form-fitting. Asymmetric garments, waist definition, but not as extreme as a romantic. For tops, you're going to look good in loose, draped, or open neckline, minimal detail, free and flowing sleeves, or gently tapered at the wrist, relaxed silhouette, and oversized shirts can work for you as well. For loose blouses, use a French tuck for slight waist definition. For bottoms, we're looking at materials with a style that accommodates your curve, slightly draped or lightweight fabric, straight or long jeans. Pants with a soft or straight leg, or rather with a soft straight leg. They need to be pegged and folded hem, or a folded hem. For skirts, flared, shaped at the hip, straight but with a soft fabric, draped above the knee length, bias cut skirt. For dresses, just like the tops and sweaters, unconstructed, lightweight, loose with slight waist definition. For sweaters, we're looking at lightweight sweaters that feel luxurious and have soft knits, cropped with heavy knit as well. Outerwear, unconstructed with slight shape of the waist. Belted jacket only if it's a soft fabric, for example, a light trench coat. Shorter length, long soft coat, but leave it open, and then don't wear anything that's too long. So hair and makeup, like I always say, I would prefer that you consider your essences before anything else, and that will help you to curate a personal style, a personal look that is definitely personal and unique to you as a person, as an individual. And so to end this video, like I always do, I'd like to show you a comparison between two beautiful soft naturals. We're going to look at Lori Harvey, and I'm thinking that I will use, let's go ahead and use SZA. And we're going to look at essence just a little bit. Like I said in the soft classic video, I don't want to hyper focus on essence because people are different. I don't want to basically put you all in one box, but I think that there is something to it in helping you decide whether or not it resonates with you, especially if you doubt whether you're soft natural or not, if you're not too sure of what your body type is. So let's look at the essence. So it says fresh, charming, radiant, direct, sensual, and then the style directive is a fresh and sensual lady. So I often get the girl next door vibe from soft naturals, and that's what they are usually described as. And so if you look at the movements of these two beautiful women, you can definitely see that there is a certain charm about them. They're quite sensual in their movements, but you also get that you get that girl next door impression from them, in that they have that approachable quality to them. So even if they have really high romantic essence, which is quite distant and almost like they can't be touched, with them as soft naturals, it doesn't seem extremely evident in them because of the way they carry themselves. They're very radiant. It's almost like a youthful quality to them, to where they have this youthfulness about them that is a little bit ingenue, but it's kind of, I would call it more approachable than anything else. And so they don't seem like they're out of reach in a sense, but they're very beautiful ladies all the same. And so I hope that this video helped you to decide whether or not you're soft natural. And now we've come to the end of the video. We're going to be moving on to our last soft archetype, and that is the soft dramatic body type. You can tell how excited I am because this is my body type, and I cannot wait to just ramble about it. I'm just kidding, I'm not trying to scare you away. But please make sure you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I hope to see you all in our next video, in the next one. God bless. Bye. Bye, everyone.